there everyone, and welcome back to Empire Total War with Darth Maul. Last time around I left you on kind of a cliffhanger with the pirate battle, so I thought we would actually go ahead and do it. I wasn't too sure when I actually left you there, but I decided, you know what, it's probably quite a quick battle since I've got cannons, so let's go ahead and do it. They've gone ahead and decided to intercept us in a town. And, yeah, we'll see about blowing them away. The cannons fire the shrapnel shot, which is highly deadly at long range, delivering massive amount of damage. They have no course of action other than to attack us, and they should really be stepping it up in terms of just speed and aggressiveness. They're not doing that. They seem to be kind of moving towards town. I've organized the cutthroat or the buccaneer groups that still have a sizable amount of men into a group here on the left that will move up, as the smaller groups will just be centered around the cannons trying to hold the enemy off. We've got another barrage coming in, absolutely devastating the enemy units. They seem to just be reorganizing their formations, and I kind of want to lock them before they all kind of go in against my cannons. Now we've kind of offset against the cannons, but at the same time, if we can get the lines to kind of fight back and forth through here, then flank shots of these devastating canister shots will be so much more deadly. If they continue this way, they'll run into my general, and he'll be able to quite effectively destroy them through cavalry charges. Looks like they're pretty good defended within town. They've got 3 of their buccaneers situated out here, and then they've got 3 pretty large one moving this way. Right, going right towards the general. Gonna see about attacking these groups right here and sending them away. Maybe not take them on just like that just yet. Pirates behind the wall. You will hold fire, switch to canister, and then swivel against them once they get close. You know what? We'll reorganize our position entirely. The general will retire towards here. And have we started the fighting here yet? No. Let's have the flanking units move in, as the front units move into position ready to fire. Not entirely sure why they've decided to keep these units statics and they just got these 3 actually moving against us. I thought they were going to move more aggressively against me, and there would be they'd run into canister and then get destroyed in seconds. But clearly that's not what happened. Their general is about to ride into the pistol fire of his life. And hopefully he gets shot down there. I mean, they're not very aggressive, are they, the enemy? Okay, if you could unlimber here, ready to fire this one. Also, we need to bring these up to protect the cannon. Pretty sure the general should be shot down any second now. His bodyguard is falling all around him. Back to here. Ooh, will the canister be ready? No, clearly not. Charge to stop them. One of the cannons. Oh, the cannons are just about to fire. I thought they were going to be ready to actually deliver. Oh, one cannon decides to fire right up into the sky. You've got a really good flank shot on that unit. The enemy general was sent away, but he wasn't actually killed. He managed to survive that somehow. And the artillery actually managed to fire. They're still firing, actually. Some of their cannons. Ooh, and the cannon is retreating. My men are not, though. You will hold fire, switch to canister as enemy is coming in close. The enemy over here is getting overwhelmed by our numbers. They're not committing all their forces. It looks like we're gonna have a fight around the walls now. And that means the general can come in and sweep away at them. Battle has lasted for about 6 minutes at this point. So it's not that great of a battle, is it? You know what? No. Everyone go for that one. And then you'll switch to shrapnel shot. Get rid of the largest of the enemy units. This one was gunned down by canister and pistol fire. And then we do have the wall to protect us. So I mean, they're already super inaccurate. And then there's a forest, and then there's a wall, so I doubt anyone gets shot there. And it'll be down to the general to charge them down. We are, however, killing a few of them, I can see. Obviously a risk here of... half the pirate army ran away to ransack the city. Guess we can re-establish some kind of line. Wait for another shrapnel shot. The general has sent most of the pirates away. You know what? When I think about it now, this is the... This is the second battle we have with the pirates. The first one, the enemy general managed to survive, even though I won. This one, I also managed to win, and yet the enemy pirate general or leader manages to survive. At this point, we'll be forcing them back to their pirate stronghold. Damn, that general, he's got some luck. Usually the AI just throws away their general and they die all over the place by the hundreds. But this pirate one is eluding our bullets. Even surrounded by our buccaneers at one point here, he managed to survive and retreat through one of our units. Maybe it's not so much the skill of the general, but the lack of the skill in the parts of the buccaneers. With that said, let's go ahead and end this and head back to the campaign map. And here we have the results of the battle. We deployed 1,400 men against 1,100 of the enemy. Both cannons survived, which is good. We lost 300 men, the enemy lost 900, leaving only 133 left. Which is really good. And it actually caused them to completely die. So even though the general it could be that the general is hiding somewhere. We're going to be able then to continue on to the pirate stronghold, siege it, and hopefully take it. Back to Europe, I was pondering last time about where to strike next. And as I recall, we had no more maneuvers to make in the Austrian theater, so there was no battles there that was imminent. So what I need to do is I need to head over to Russia. We have the siege of Kiev, but I'm hoping they'll be pushed out. There was that small one, but that's not gonna be pretty. That's not gonna be in an important one. I seem to have forgot to replenish these guys. This one is also just chasing down some crap. So the only real battle we have is this one over at Moscow. So we'll march out and we'll strike Miloslav Shekol and his army. He's got a lot of cannon. He's going to get a lot of reinforcements as well. So let's strike out and strike this one. So we'll start off with an enemy army that we will outnumber by about... I was about to say 1,000 men, but it's only about 230. And then he's going to get reinforced by, I think, 4,000 men in 2 armies. So it'll be a hard battle, especially since this is the Fusilier army, which have had... It was one of the... I think the first defeat we had in this campaign was with the Fusiliers, just because they do volley fire instead of firing... Oh no, they do fire by rank and not volley firing. But we'll see how this goes. So hopefully we can hold on to Moscow. A loss here would definitely not be good, as the enemy would be free to move on this side, and they would probably bring the war to our lands instead. But enough talk about that. Let's go ahead and actually play this battle. And so here I have my army, and now when I actually look at it, I think that it probably would have been, might have been better to actually wait one turn and then have the army fully replenished. Thing is, the enemy would probably have striked us before, and we would have a annoying siege battle. Instead, I think this is the better option. It will be bloody though. One thing that I'm thinking about is possibly if I move these into light formation, that will get more bang out of them. Like they will actually be able to perform a little bit more impressively than before. Also, I'm taking precautions to protect my cannons quite well with loads of these obstacles in front of them. Except, of course, directly in front of this 12-pounder, as well, for obvious reasons. Not much of a plan. We'll evolve it as we come in contact with the enemy. I've entrenched my troops quite well here on the hill. Let's go ahead and start. Okay, so the enemy has made a huge line of cavalry going through there. Got even more cavalry over here. We start off with a howitzer barrage of their artillery. One thing that I probably should have done is actually told the artillery not to fire right at the start. And instead, I would have ordered them then to fire at the center of the formation instead. We're gonna switch so they fire round shots, so they actually reach the enemy artillery. I think we might want to do the same with the 12-pounder, as it's barely reaching this unit. The thing though is the enemy has a lot of cannons and they have a lot of cavalry. And if... Oh, what I forgot. What did I forget over here? Guard Cuirassiers. They've got Regiment of Horse and Dragoon moving in over there. I mean, there could possibly be a benefit of having them over here. They're not hidden though. It looks like the Dragoons are moving to attack us. The large unit will go from the front. This one will flank. Oh, nice. They dismount just as we attack. Bloody morons. First things first is I think we need to deploy my infantry. And it might be, well, you know what we'll do? We'll take these 4, deploy them in line, and then have these 2 deployed in skirmish in front. As the enemy is taking its time, just waiting for us to shoot down all their artillery. We should take this time to entrench our position even further with loads of spikes, since all these Fusiliers can place spikes as well. There'll be a lot of spikes. My heavy cavalry was victorious there, and I can now rejoin the fight. I thought the only heavy cavalry I had was these two, so I missed that, so that's pretty good. I'll have them in the center though, to support, in case there's a charge toward the center. Right, hurry into your bloody positions. What are you Fusiliers doing? And weren't there supposed to be 4 of these? Right, so I'm just in time to place the first spikes. 12 pounders will hold fire, switch to canister, and fire at will. We'll let them fight here. I'm pretty sure they'll just go on to the spikes. And it'll give time for the others. Oh! Was these blunderbuss? I thought they were all light infantry that I sent forward. Some of them were blunderbuss infantry. Oh, one of the large one turn back and aid that one. Right, both the cavalry units were sent away. Let's see, which one of these are actually light infantry units? So the one in front and this one is actual light infantry unit. We'll deploy them here, while the blunderbuss, where should I put them? We'll put them for now behind the wall over here. Now I want to see if I can deploy some spikes over here. 2 rows like that. Then you over there. And you with more like so. One of these can deploy spikes, and then we need to deploy spikes over here. These 2 should deploy spikes. I'm wondering if they can do that in the forest. No, they can't. Well, certain areas in the forest. Wow, I moved one away just to have the other one locked in the combat. How's it going for the howitzers? The enemy was sent away, so you can switch to round shot for now. And these are not even firing. Which is a shame, because the enemy is in a absolutely terrible position to receive cannon fire. If I were to be able to fire explosive shots at this range, we could possibly have reduced their entire arsenal of cannon within seconds. For some reasons the Russians have a really hard time. Okay, I'm gonna decide that we won this engagement, and you guys are gonna move away and actually do what I tell you to. So we've got 2 lines of spikes here. Should protect us pretty well against any cavalry assault. But since they've got loads of cavalry, I want to protect myself even further by having everyone deploy spikes all over the place. So now these 4 should deploy spikes. And then these 4 should be ready to deploy their spikes. So we'll have so many spikes that there's basically no chance whatsoever of the enemy breaking through. Now, looks like they're... Ah, okay, so what I thought was gonna happen, happened. Which is that the units deployed in light infantry formation, out of these, only the front rank fires. Which is god-awful. I'll have the heavy cavalry, though, moved to the center. And as they've already fought quite a bit, I think we'll keep them there. I'm not entirely sure what you are doing. Once all spikes have been deployed, these units will move out of light formation and then join the others in one long line here in the forest. Hiding behind all those spikes, it'll be impossible for the enemy to get through. Except for this one that flanks us. But that one will be taken care of. 2 fresh regiments of Polish Guard Hussars that have been hiding in the forest. Looks pretty good. We've got so much bloody spikes everywhere. These on the flank, I think we'll have them deployed along a line so. And then to kind of protect further, we'll have the guards go there. We'll have one of the major guard regiments stationed up here on the hill. And then we've got these grenadiers backing up the artillery, just in case. Be able to rush forward, throw the grenades and stuff. I've almost got more deployables than I had in my Rome series. The enemy artillery advantage should be reduced pretty soon, and we'll actually see the enemy come try on my defensive position. I think we just achieved that, as I can see loads of enemy regiments marching forward. They've also decided to actually deploy their artillery and is counter-firing towards my cavalry. We'll have the Hussars retire. There's a lot of kind of impassable terrain all over the place. You'll act as a flank guard. A lot of these units are hidden. Right, here they come. They're gonna test out our spikes. If they manage to get through, they'll meet blunderbuss. They'll meet the light infantry, they'll meet the Fusiliers on the hill, and they'll meet their own Cossacks, which shot them in the back. Looks like they might be able to find a way through the spikes by going in sideways, but damn, that was a lot of bullets coming in. This unit will then be formed into square. And the enemy is receiving so much fire that I'm surprised they still stand, even with the Cossacks shooting them in the back. Which was rather silly of the Cossacks. Right, the enemy is coming for us. It's time to kind of switch tactic. Oh, we lost a cannon. Unusual that the enemy actually achieves anything in the counter battery fire. We'll go ahead and blow the enemy to smithereens. The blunderbuss guys have a wonderful time where they are able to put down continuous fire upon the enemy. We can see the howitzer shots are now starting to rain in. The shrapnel shots are also bouncing down upon the enemy and dancing on their skulls. The square will be moved back into line as we got 2 regiments of foot ready to charge the Fusiliers. The enemy is a little bit hesitant. The cavalry is riding back and forth in front, trying to find a way through the all the spikes. Doesn't seem to be going well. The Moscow Goons did manage to find a way to attack one of my light infantry units, but they're receiving canister fire or shrapnel fire and also fire from the Fusiliers in the back. Large amount of howitzer shots going in, exploding in among the Cossacks, and line infantry moving forwards in this region, blowing them away. The enemy over here is running into the steady volley fires of my Fusiliers on slow advance through the forest. There's going to be a problem here. Also, I don't actually want to kind of meet the enemy in melee, so I want to pull back. And I think we're going to deploy 2 of the grenadiers over there to aid on this side. And then, since there's nothing really coming here to flank, then this unit can move in to fire into the flank like so. I noticed that one of the howitzers is firing that way, and as the enemy is close to meeting us in melee, I'll tell that one to focus down upon the guys moving in here. This light infantry unit should really be pulling back. They've yet to reach melee distance, but they're just about to. Ooh, just as that volley rips into them, and the unit is shaken and tired and might well rout. Can we get a third? No, they were done there. They're right in front of them. The blunderbuss guys are now ripping into these guys from the side. The enemy has attacked the Fusiliers. However, I've just moved my grenadiers into a position where they can countercharge. We got the blunderbuss behind the wall, cutting into the Cossacks moving forward across the field. They've made their way through all the obstacles, but it's not going well for the Russian army. One unit is routing. Let's see if we can cause a chain rout by having the grenadiers countercharge through the Fusiliers and just shock the enemy troops into submission and force them back. One of the blunderbuss units is in way over its head with that amount of enemy troops. This one is kind of holding. I don't think the howitzers can fire at that angle, so instead they'll go back to counter barrage. Why don't you aim for this one? So the blunderbuss are pulling back over there. Over here, they're still fighting with these. And my grenadiers, they managed to get rid of one of the enemy units, but they didn't really follow up going into this one. Oh, these guys are also firing by rank. Get those Cossacks. Right, the enemy was actually defeated, so we seem to have learned something from last time we used the Fusiliers. We have plenty of ammo, and there are tons and tons of dead Russians ahead of us. I want both my grenadiers to really push into these guys. Right, so the first wave is more or less done. We've got one unit of line infantry still fighting up here, but now pushed in both grenadier units, so they should be well and truly done for. Oh, there's a bloody Cossack unit. I missed that one. I don't know where that one came from. Okay, now the Russian unit over there is gone. What I think we'll do is we'll put the blunderbuss up on the hill at this point 2 grenadier units will retire. This one will assume its flank position again. Wait. Oh, there we go. Right, now both grenadiers will assume their positions. The enemies get shot to pieces. Anything that approach is getting destroyed. Eastern mercenaries and howitzers firing round shot towards I guess the enemy cavalry. Oh, there's their artillery. What are they doing all the way over here? That's maybe a target for the hussars instead. And then what I'll do is I'll tell the cannons. You know what? The cannons were a lot quicker than the hussars. And they've actually already broken down the enemy. They're leaving the gun there. And this one, it's a single gun. They're about to deploy it, but they're not too happy with their situation. So with a bit of sustained fire, we'll see them rout. Especially now since I'm focusing in all my artillery fire. And there goes the artillery train. And so does the enemy unit. Oh shit. Enemy reinforcement is very unfortunate. I wondered where they were going to turn up from. And now we know. Because they're going to turn up right behind us. Luckily I caught it rather soon. Let's focus over the horse guards to be part in possibly putting these guys down. I don't think there's any point in having the cannons firing this way anymore. I'll tell them to hold fire. And then what we'll do is we'll tell them always to target this point right here. We probably need to reinforce this area even more. Maybe I can fit the grenadiers in that little small hole. Sustained volleys like that is probably not going to work. They're going to eventually get through, and they just did. Very precise fire from the batteries. But yeah, the enemy hussars and cavalry units got through. This unit that is directly in their path will form square. Hopefully the others hold. A lot of the enemy cavalry units are routing. Is that one of... That's one of ours, but that was the one that was most forward. We'll form a half circle around the enemy. They can't charge us all. All the enemy cavalry was actually dispelled within seconds there. They're charging to try and break out. Here comes the next volley of howitzer shots breaking into the enemy. It's going to be a little bit more harder to deal with all the infantry. Partly because they managed to get away from all the fire. But I think we're going to have a few units that will be available to fire at the enemy while the others hold them in melee. But we're definitely going to need some grenadiers here, as they're going to be a low melee. Ooh, the enemy is firing into us while the enemy plus melee. That's going to be difficult to deal with. Oh yeah, these guys cannot form square, can they? Or at least, the ones that hasn't deployed stakes cannot. I think we'll have to actually pull back. is probably a better option than to try and actually hold them, because there's quite a lot of them coming through there. You know what? It's kind of foolish actually to have the light infantry go onto the flank at this point. Pull back. If you can. Yeah, there's way too much enemies coming there. Fire at will. Want to get these two coming in here as well. And I think we'll redirect the artillery to fire somewhere else here in the mist. This one will hold fire, as I'm sure it will just fire at our own troops. Oh, there's pike and shit coming through all those waves as well. Before they get too close, can I get some grenades thrown into there? Did they actually throw anything? I don't think so. Yeah, they're too close now into melee. There's so many of them. It's gonna be difficult to hold them back. What is the closest I can fire? See if we can get fire right in the back there. I don't want to charge into my own men. Let's go out here and go around, charge them in the back. They're attacking that side of the flank. You know what? I think it's safe to move these guys out. So they will be moved around. Ooh, one of the grenadiers is about to rout. We've got more grenadiers ready to come in. Can I throw... Can we throw some grenades at the enemy cavalry? Ooh, they're maybe too close. One unit that's far in the back. Oh, this is a bloody blunderbuss unit. You'll be positioned on the flank. Oh, there we go. Looks like we actually got a good hit there, throwing in the back and actually missing most of our own units. We've got cannon fire coming in from the enemy. My howitzer shots, are they landing? They're not effective. Fire at the enemy up there instead then. Fusiliers ran into a lot of enemies. Let's form into square over here. Shit, 37th, 77, 100 something. Square. Cavalry. Charge. We've got a few of our grenadiers pulling back. General, come up to there. Let's see, how's it going? Grenadiers, pull back. And let's see if we can get actually all three of these units to pull back. And then just shoot down the remaining part of the Russians. My cavalry charging in from the flank there. Should hopefully help out the... I was about to say help out the enemy, but obviously we don't want to help out the enemy. There's still some fighting. But most of the Russians were dead at this point. I think a lot why we were actually able to win that really good grenade throw because that killed so many of the enemy. I'll actually try to pull the Fusiliers out of there. They're not very skilled at melee. Try to reform your bloody square. And then I'm surprised we haven't broken down the enemy's artillery right there on the flank. Right, I said it was going to be bloody, and it definitely was bloody. But definitely also our victory and not the Russian one. See if I can actually push the cavalry through, and I might rout them. And then all artillery will instead focus on firing on the general, which is one of the last enemy units remaining. And hopefully that will be enough to persuade the Russians to give up fighting. Do we have one? We have this Cuirassier Guard ready to charge down the enemy. These Cossacks are stuck in among the squares. It would be nice if the squares actually fired at will. Got rid of them. Just look, I mean, if you close up, the grass conceals most of it. But if you go far away, so you can actually see, so the grass disappears, you can see how many dead soldiers are stuck there. Charge down that artillery piece. And, I mean, all over the place, really. Thousands of Russian soldiers. Surprised these bastards are still fighting. Hold fire, just in case. Square is firing. The enemy general is shattered. The battle is won. No enemy force remains. It's a hard-fought battle. And victory in the Moscow region. This was definitely needed, and it will clear up the region, but the thing is we won't be able to move anywhere, so we'll still have to wait for reinforcement, but a major threat towards Moscow has been taken care of. Let's go ahead and take a look at the statistics. And here we are looking at the statistics of the battle. So we deployed 6,006 men. We lost half of that, with almost 3,000 casualties on our side, leaving 3,000 men alive. The enemy deployed 10,000 men, which they lost 76%, or 7,620 men, leaving only 2,532. Now it doesn't. Remaining forces are quite similar, but the thing is the enemy has been badly beaten, and those 2,500 is deployed on 3 armies, which they will all scatter and run away and all split among loads of units. We can see that our units, hopefully most of them actually survived, which it's hard to tell. They don't really show in the newer games. They actually show if a unit is completely destroyed. In the older ones, it doesn't. Kind of interesting how the enemy managed to lose 7,600, while I only killed apparently 5,400. And how the enemy apparently only killed 2,100, which kind of implies that I killed 900 of my own men. But I think it's partly just because how weird it counts. And so I think it's a lot of the explosions and stuff that doesn't really count properly, because according to this, I mean, that's a discrepancy of almost 2,000 men. Which I don't think the Russians killed of their own, and I don't think they had 2,000 men run onto my spikes. So that's probably explosions and stuff, and like the grenades the grenadiers tossed, which is a bit sad because given how much they actually killed with that grenade toss, I'd imagine they'd just get tons of XP. Right. But victory, quite sizable force still, right there. A lot of cavalry, a lot of Cossacks survived. But I don't think they're going to be a threat. The thing is, we've got really big walls at Moscow. And I do have some units being recruited here. Let's see. I would just want to see if I can recruit Fusiliers. Can I even recruit Fusiliers here? I don't know if I can. Yes, I can. And no, we didn't lose any Fusiliers at least. I don't think we lost anything. It's still 3 units open, which is roughly what I'm trying to recruit here. So that's good. Right. This video has gone on long enough, as we've done 2 videos. This nasty army we didn't deal with. I can take that on the walls though. Right. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoy this, and hopefully I'll see you guys for the next one. Bye!